Way back in the summer of last year, Mark Gurman gave us a bombshell leak claiming that Apple is working on a redesign of the iPad Pro with a glass back for the 2022 release. Yes, I said glass back, just like we've had for years with the iPhone. And if you're wondering why in the world Apple would do this, well, it's because Apple apparently wants to enable wireless charging on the back of the iPad Pro, which might sound a bit ridiculous, but the plan is actually genius. First of all, Mark says it'll support both wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, kind of like what we currently have with Apple's MagSafe power bank, where you can plug in a cable to charge your iPhone, and your iPhone will reverse wireless charge the power bank. But Apple's plan for the iPad Pro is even better, because according to Mark Gurman, you're going to be able to recharge your iPhone, your AirPods, and even your future Apple Watch by using this new reverse wireless charging feature on the back of the iPad Pro. And if you're wondering how that's going to work, the only answer is MagSafe charging by using the MagSafe puck, which Mark Gurman has already mentioned, so that you can use your iPad in the upright position, potentially with the Magic Keyboard, while also recharging your devices magnetically using MagSafe at the same time. And that actually makes a lot of sense because both the AirPods 3 and the AirPods Pro have recently been updated with MagSafe charging support, which works great. And I even made a recent video discussing how Apple could easily build MagSafe into the next gen Magic Keyboard as well, so we can pass through charge with multiple stacks of coils, so definitely watch that video. But with all that said, if you think a full glass back on an iPad Pro is a little insane because it's much more susceptible to drops and cracks, well, you are right, because it has been reported that Apple hit a major roadblock in plans to redesign the iPad Pro. And according to 9to5Mac, this glass back iPad Pro redesign may have been scrapped because Apple was concerned that the iPad would become too fragile due to all of the glass. So unfortunately, it looks like the upcoming 2022 iPad Pro is most likely not going to come with that full glass back redesign. But wait, the story doesn't end there because Apple might have an even better trick up their sleeve. According to 9to5Mac sources, Apple has actually been developing iPad Pro prototypes with large Apple logos that are made out of glass instead of metal. And if you think that's crazy, 9to5Mac pointed out that Apple increased the size of the Apple logos on the new MacBook Pros, almost like they knew that they were thinking of doing the same thing for the iPad Pro as well. But getting back to the potential glass Apple logo design, this actually makes a lot of sense because the glass would allow wireless charging power to be distributed through it, and then as for the MagSafe magnets, the aluminum back wouldn't matter at all because the iPad Pro already uses a ton of magnets for connecting to the Magic Keyboard. And then of course, the major benefit is that the rest of the back will remain being built out of metal, so it's gonna be much more durable. And then getting into more of the details, they confirmed that one of the prototypes featured MagSafe support, which makes total sense, but this time with stronger magnets than you get with the iPhone to prevent accidental damage. So stronger magnets make a lot of sense since you don't want your AirPods or even your iPhone falling off of the back of the iPad Pro while charging. And then going even further, they mentioned that the MagSafe charger will support faster wireless charging speeds compared to the 15 watts you get with the iPhone. And this makes a lot of sense because the iPad Pro's battery is much larger and takes more time to charge. So Apple will either have an updated MagSafe charger with faster charging just for the iPad Pro, or they're just gonna up the wattage because it handles heat much better than the smaller iPhones, which get pretty hot while MagSafe charging. And now, with all of that said, everything finally makes sense for Apple to do this, especially since they've already increased the size of the Apple logo on the new MacBook Pros. So I ended up deciding to actually grab a MagSafe puck charger and put it up against the new MacBook Pro Apple logo to see if it's actually big enough to support wireless charging if it was glass, or if Apple is gonna have to make it even larger. So what I ended up doing was I found a teardown of the MagSafe charger online to see how big the actual charging coils are compared to the puck itself, and then I grabbed a piece of paper and drew a circle just to get a rough idea of the size required to support MagSafe charging. And as you can see on this MacBook Pro, the coils on the inside are just a bit larger than the Apple logo itself. So Apple would have to make it even bigger on the new iPad Pros to make MagSafe function through the glass without any issues. So finally, I worked with Renders by Shailesh to create some new renders of what the new updated design would look like with the larger Apple logo made out of glass. And in my opinion, this looks absolutely fantastic, and it doesn't seem like the logo is way too big at all. The Apple logo on the current 12.9-inch iPad Pro is laughably small. Like, it looks way too small right now on that huge iPad Pro chassis. So it makes sense for Apple to increase the logo size even if they weren't planning on adding MagSafe support. And if you're wondering why the Apple logo is placed horizontally on my custom iPad Pro renders, that's because the reliable leaker Dylan DKT claimed that the future iPad Pros will feature a horizontally placed Apple logo on the back because they're planning on making landscape mode the default for iPad Pro usage. And then going back to my renders, I also had one more detail that you may have missed. The smart connector that we currently have on the iPad Pro is now gone on my new renders of the 2022 iPad Pro. And the reason I did that is because I fully believe that the new iPad Pro is going to be able to power the Magic Keyboard case using reverse wireless charging through the MagSafe connector, so there won't be any physical connectors at all. And if you think I'm totally crazy for believing that, I recently found some iPad Pro patents claiming that a new future Magic Keyboard will come with 2 sets of MagSafe charging coils. One set will be used for pass-through charging the iPad Pro, and the second set will be used to reverse wireless charge accessories like an iPhone, AirPods, or future Apple Watch. And now on top of all of that, 9to5Mac did give us some extra details, like for example, Apple is planning on increasing the battery size on the new iPad Pro to help offset the loss in battery power when using the Magic Keyboard, especially since it's going to be powered wirelessly, in my opinion. So if you take all of those rumors and add them up together, the whole idea of going with the glass Apple logo actually makes the most sense, because from the outside, you won't really notice that it supports MagSafe wireless charging until you place the puck on there or any of your other MagSafe devices, and you're not gonna risk any damage from having a full glass back. And in terms of when we should expect this new iPad Pro, I fully believe that it's gonna be coming this fall, just based on the 1.5-year update cycle that Apple usually has for their iPad Pro, especially since we're not expecting the M2 chip to come out until the second half of this year. So with all that said, if you think the larger glass Apple logo is a good idea, then go ahead and click the circle above to subscribe for more videos like this one, and definitely check out that video on those iPad Pro patents right over there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.